across the empty lot tonight, behind the 5 and dime. A soda machine still glows blue, like it's forgotten time. The weeds have found the fence posts, the gravel's mostly gone, but that little patch of open ground keeps quietly hanging on. Low brass melody. There used to be a grocery there back when I was young. Saturday mornings full of voices and pickup trucks that come. Now only shadows gather there when midnight settles in, and the wind moves through the chain link gate like a distant old friend. Some places lose their purpose, some places lose their name, but every now and then they keep a little piece of yesterday. Across the empty lot, the night moves slow, past the faded signs and broken pavement. Only old memories know. Across the empty lot, beneath the pale moonlight, nothing much is happening, and that's what feels right. A cat slips through the darkness near the back of the alleyway. A train horn sounds from somewhere south, then slowly fades away. The courthouse clock strikes 1 o'clock without a soul around. Just another hour drifting softly through this sleeping town. I used to think the story was somewhere up ahead. Now I find it living quietly in places people left. Across the empty lot, the night moves slow, past the faded signs and broken pavement. Only old memories know. Oh, across the empty lot, beneath the pale moonlight, nothing much is happening, and that's what feels right. The world keeps building newer things, shinier things, faster things, but sometimes an empty lot can tell you more than a whole city block. Short, simple, reflective. Across the empty lot, a single street light glows, casting long familiar shadows. Only midnight knows. Across the empty lot, as another day grows near, the silence doesn't feel lonely. between two streetlights on Jefferson Avenue. There's a patch of sidewalk most folks never notice passing through. The paint's worn thin at the crosswalk, the curb's chipped at the side, and every night the shadows meet where those two circles collide. Low brass melody. The floor is closed before sunset. The bank shut down at 5. The only sound still hanging round is a cooling engine outside. A bicycle leans against a pole without a lock in sight, like somebody planned to come right back but stayed home for the night. Some corners don't make history, some places don't get named, but they hold 1,000 ordinary moments, all the same between two streetlights. The whole world seems small, just a little piece of pavement and the shadows that fall between two streetlights. Nothing trying to be grand, just a quiet place reminding me how simple life can stand. Warm trombone phrases, soft hammering underneath. I remember hurrying past here back when time moved fast, thinking every road ahead was better than the last. Now I find myself slowing down for things I never see, when I spent my younger years trying to outrun me. The years don't stop the river, they don't stop the rain, but they teach you how to notice what's been there all along between two streetlights. The whole world seems small, just a little piece of pavement and the shadows that fall between two streetlights. Nothing trying to be grand, just a quiet place reminding me how simple life can stand. A delivery truck passes, its headlights sweep the road, then everything settles back exactly as before. Short, patient, melodic. Between two streetlights, as the night drifts by, the town keeps breathing softly beneath the southern sky. Between two streetlights, near the break of dawn, the shadows slowly disappear, but the feeling lingers on. The lights keep glowing, the night keeps rolling, the town keeps dreaming, slow and low. August never really leaves this little town completely. Even in October, you can feel it in the heat. The ice machine behind the store still hums into the night, and the gas station by the river road keeps its canopy light. Low brass melody. A folding chair sits empty outside a brick storefront, like somebody stepped away a minute and forgot to come back once. A delivery calendar hangs crooked in the hardware window frame, still turned to late summer, though the seasons have all changed. Funny how a town remembers things people leave behind, holding little pieces of them long after they've moved on. At the corner of August, in the midnight road, the air still feels familiar, though the years have come and gone. At the corner of August, and asleep in town, you can almost hear old summers when the night gets quiet enough. Soft hammering underneath. Back then the movie theater stayed open after dark. Teenagers filled the parking lot till way past 11 o'clock. Now the ticket booth stands silent beneath a faded sign, but every time I pass it, the old crowd comes to mind. The years don't erase much, they just soften every line, like photographs left sitting too long in the sunlight. At the corner of August, in a midnight road, the air still feels familiar, though the years have come and gone. At the corner of August, and asleep in town, you can almost hear old summers when the night gets quiet enough. A moth circles a street lamp. A train moves through the distance, and for a moment, nothing feels missing. Short, gentle, reflective. At the corner of August, near the break of day, the sky begins to lighten over rooftops far away. At the corner of August, where old memories stay, but not trapped inside the past, just resting by the way. The train keeps rolling, the street lamp keeps blowing, and August keeps lingering slow and low, slow and low. Five minutes to closing at Turner's appliance store. The television in the showroom still flickers by the door. Mr. Turner counts the register for the second time tonight, while a floor fan keeps on turning in the yellow light. Low brass melody, a young man rushes in breathless, looking for a fuse. Says his kitchen went completely dark around the evening news. Turner points him to aisle 7 without even looking up. Some customers become familiar after 20 years or so. Every town has people who know where everything belongs, not because they planned it, just because they've stayed that long. 5 minutes to closing, and the day's nearly gone. One more sale,
one more handshake,
then the lights come off. 5 minutes to closing, the same as yesterday. 100 ordinary evenings spent exactly this way. There's a calendar from 1968 still hanging in the back. Nobody remembers why it's there. Nobody takes it down. A dusty radio on a shelf plays a distant country song, too quiet for the customers, but loud enough for Turner. The world outside keeps changing, new roads, bigger signs, but inside some old buildings, time falls a little behind. 5 minutes to closing, and the day's nearly gone. One more sale,
one more handshake,
then the lights come off. 5 minutes to closing, the same as yesterday. 100 ordinary evenings spent exactly this way. The young man leaves with his fuse. The bell rings above the door. Turner watches him drive away, then locks up like he's done 1,000 times before. Sure. Simple. Nothing headline worthy, nothing grand, just a life lived honestly. The register is quiet, the showroom settles, and Mr. Turner heads home. Slow and satisfied. Behind the Sunset Motor Lodge, past rooms 11 through 15, there's an old ice machine humming like the world's most patient dream. The paint is faded powder blue, one corner's rusted through, but every summer evening it still knows what to do. Warm brass melody, vacation dads in station wagons drag metal buckets through the heat. Kids in flip-flops race each other barefoot down the concrete street. A woman from Baton Rouge fills a cooler packed with Sprite, while her husband folds the road map under buzzing parking lights. Every journey has a soundtrack most folks never hear, small familiar noises that follow them through the years. Ice machine song clattering through the night, dropping cubes in the waiting hands under motel lights. Ice machine song keeping its steady beat, cooling down long highways, one traveler at a time. Simple melodic phrases, soft Hammond underneath. A baseball team from Memphis stopped there back in '73. Their coach bought 3 bags before dawn for sore knees and sweet tea. Nobody remembers the final score or where they placed that year, but somebody still remembers laughing by that ice machine out rear. The things we carry longest rarely cost a dime. A smell, a sound, a summer night can outlast time itself. Ice machine song clattering through the night, dropping cubes into waiting hands under motel lights. Ice machine song keeping its steady beat, cooling down long highways, one traveler at a time. At 2 in the morning, a newlywed couple stepped outside, still dressed for the reception, searching for ice, trying not to wake the baby, sleeping in room 12, they whispered, then laughed anyway. Short, playful, song as another August fades. The parking lot grows quiet and the crickets take the stage. Ice machine song, never asking why, just humming through the background of 1,000 passing lives. The neon flickers softly, the coolers fill again, and the old ice machine keeps singing to anyone listening. Back before the sun came up, the diner lights were on. Miss Betty turned the open sign while humming an old song. The coffee started brewing, the grill began to warm, and outside on the county road, the air felt cold and calm. Low brass melody. Across the street at Walker's Feed, a pickup pulled around. Old Mr. Kane stepped from the cab without a single sound. He carried 2 blue kerosene cans like he had every year, since winter steelmen, wood stoves, and radios folks gathered near. Some mornings don't announce themselves, they simply arrive with familiar sounds and familiar faces. Kerosene morning, before the town wakes up, before the traffic starts moving, before the storefronts unlock. Kerosene morning, cold air and faded gloves, the kind of hour that disappears before most people are up. Warm trombone phrases, soft hammering underneath. A newspaper boy on a bicycle cut across the square, leaving rolled up headlines on porches everywhere. A church bell rang at 6:15 through the pale gray sky, and somewhere a screen door opened to start another day. Most lives unmeasured in milestones and applause. They're measured in mornings just like this one. Kerosene morning, before the town wakes up, before the traffic starts moving, before the storefronts unlock. Kerosene morning, cold air and faded gloves, the kind of hour that disappears before most people are up. By 7:30, the parking lots would fill, the phones would ring, the day would get busy, and this quiet little hour would be gone like it was never there. Short, earthy, unhurried. Kerosene morning, now the sunlight starts to spread across the roofs and water towers at the edge of time. Kerosene morning, Another day begins, and all those ordinary people step back into their lives again. The coffee keeps pouring, the trucks keep arriving, and the morning rolls forward without a fuss. At the Redbird Bingo Hall off Highway 62, Miss Loretta always showed up early in a powder blue suit. She'd unfold her lucky handkerchief, set a thermos by a chair, and smooth the corners of her cards like a Sunday morning prayer. Warm brass melody, folks called out their favorite numbers, 49 and 23. But Loretta had her reasons for believing in 7 endlessly. Said her daddy wore that number playing ball back in the day, and her oldest boy was born in July on the 7th anyway. People hold on to small beliefs, not because they make sense, but because they help stitch meaning into ordinary days. Lucky number 7, written in blue ink, crossed off slow and careful before she stopped to think. Lucky number 7, carried through the years, part superstition, part memory, part hope that perseveres. Gentle underneath, a widower from Pine Creek sat 3 tables to her left. Never missed a Thursday evening since his wife had taken ill. He'd joke about his bad luck, she'd roll her eyes and grin, then save the seat beside her when he'd wander back in. Sometimes companionship looks nothing like the movies. Sometimes it's just knowing who's supposed to be there. Lucky number 7, echoing through the hall, mixed with coffee cups and laughter, and the caller's steady drawl. Lucky number 7, no fortune to be found, just familiar faces gathering around. Near closing time, Loretta finally won $20. She folded the bills, slipped 10 into her purse, and handed the rest to the teenage waitress for nursing school books. Short, playful, kind-hearted. Oh, lucky number 7, as the folding chairs were stacked, the janitor swept the confetti toward the rear exit and back. Lucky number 7, still ringing in her mind, not she hit the jackpot, but because she had a place to belong. The bingo ball stopped turning, the neon sign goes dim, and Miss Loretta heads home, smiling to herself. Miller's grocery opened early, 6:05 most days. Before the school buses started running, before the summer haze, Mr. Miller unlocked the front door with yesterday's keys, then watered two tied ferns beneath the window screens. Warm brass melody. He sold minnows and old metal tubs for fishermen headed south, threading buttons near the checkout line for folks patching things around the house. There was a corkboard by the freezer, covered up with notes. A babysitter looking for work, a hound dog, someone hoped they'd find. Every town has a bulletin board full of little wishes, most of them practical, some of them prayers. Miller's grocery, where the news arrived before the paper, where birthdays and bad weather were discussed beside the register. Miller's grocery, nothing polished or refined, just a place that held together the loose threads of small town life. A woman bought a birthday candle and 3 bananas after church. A boy spent all his allowance on comic books and grape soda. An out-of-town insurance man asked where Route 40 turned. Mr. Miller pointed with a pencil, without missing count on change. Some people measure value by profit and expansion, others measure it by whether they'll be missed. Miller's grocery, where the news arrived before the paper, where birthdays and bad weather were discussed beside the register. Miller's grocery, nothing polished or refined, just a place that held together the loose threads of small town life. One winter, the power went out for 2 whole days. Folks gathered there anyway, sharing flashlights, stories, and whatever coffee could still be made by camp stove flame. Short, neighborly, usefulness can be love. The corkboard keeps changing, the front bell keeps ringing, and Mr. Miller keeps sweeping long after closing time. Friday nights at Lucky Lanes, the parking lot filled fast. Pickup trucks and station wagons lined up on the cracked asphalt. The shoe counter smelled of powder, old leather and floor wax, while teenagers traded quarters for another game out back. Warm brass melody, Eddie worked behind the counter since the summer of '68. He could guess your shoe size quicker than most folks guessed your age. He'd slide those neon bowling shoes across the polished wood and ask how mama'd been doing before asking how you scored. Some people remember victories, others remember the room and the people they laughed beside between the frames. Neon bowling shoes, red and white and blue, carrying teachers, welders, nurses through a game or two. Neon bowling shoes lined up by the wall, waiting for another Friday when the whole town came to call. Some soft hammering underneath. A newly married couple argued over whether to throw straight. An old machinist bowled one-handed and blamed the alley every frame. A little boy won a stuffed tiger from the claw machine near lane 4, then slept the whole ride home holding it against his chest. Most traditions unannounced, they simply happen long enough that nobody can remember when they first began. Neon bowling shoes, red and white and blue, carrying teachers, welders, nurses through a game or two. Neon bowling shoes lined up by the wall, waiting for another Friday when the whole town came to call. Around 10:30, someone finally hit a perfect strike. The room erupted, not because it changed the world, but because for one brief second, everybody celebrated the same thing. Short, playful, good-natured. Neon bowling shoes, as the scoreboards faded dark, the jukebox stopped spinning and the snack bar closed its gate. Neon bowling shoes back beneath the racks until another weekend rolled around and brought the whole town back. The pin setters fall quiet, the floor lights dim slowly, and Lucky Lane settles in till next Friday night. Every spring around April, before the dogwoods bloom, a man named Calvin drove a sedan, packed tight from trunk to roof. Boxes stacked beside the spare tire, bound with twine and tape, filled with brand new yellow pages for every county on his route. My raft's melody he'd stop by barbershops and diners, hardware stores and banks, leave a pile beside the entrance, then be gone without much thanks. Kids would flip through all the listings, looking up their neighbors' names, while grown folks searched for farmers when the pipes gave way again. Funny how something ordinary can feel permanent until one day it quietly isn't there anymore. Yellow Pages man, rolling county roads, delivering little books of numbers to places high and low. Yellow Pages man, never making headlines, just helping folks find one another, one address at a time. Gentle melodic phrases, soft trimming underneath. Calvin knew the back roads daily than most state highway maps, which bridge to cross after heavy rain, which shortcut cut 10 minutes back. He'd eat tomato sandwiches, park beneath pecan trees, then brush the crumbs from off his shirt before the next delivery. Not every working life leaves behind monuments. Sometimes it leaves directions for somebody else to follow. Yellow Pages man, rolling county roads, delivering little books of numbers to places high and low. Yellow Pages man, never making headlines, just helping folks find one another, one address at a time. or P for painters and trusted the pages to lead you there. Short walk, me walk. Yellow pages, man, the years kept moving on. The books grew thinner, then disappeared. But Cal wouldn't care in line. Yellow pages, man, part of a changing age, leaving behind 1,000 fingerprints. Between those yellow pages, the county roads stretch onward. The dogwoods bloom again. And somewhere in an attic, that old phone book waits quietly.